Welcome to the meeting of the Board of Trustees for October 4, 2016. You'll join us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Our first item is setting the agenda. Any additions or corrections?
Yes, we do have some tonight. Apologize. 2.5 resignations, Marie Rohr, transportation bus driver, and Brody Shively, Lincoln Junior High assistant wrestling coach. 2.8 appointments, Marcy Begonian, Menominee second grade teacher, and Cheryl Beckham, PHS dive coach, 1.5 stipend. 2.20, consider PHS speech and debate overnight trips. 2.21, consider section 125 flexible benefit plan, and 3.7 enrollment report.
With those additions, entertain a motion to accept the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second. Discussion. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 1.3, audience participation. Thank you all for coming this evening. Is there anybody that would like to discuss agenda items this evening? We're going to play some football.
Game Saturday if you want to come. Against the Colts.
What's that?
Against the Colts.
Colts?
If we win, we'll be undefeated still.
Colts are down this year, I hear, so don't get too
Last
confident.
year we only lost one game, but this year I think we're going to stay undefeated.
Yeah? And where's the game at?
It's by it's behind Martin's.
Gotcha.
Or,
Yeah.
that field of soccer.
We're just having a discussion. You all just carry on. That's pretty cool. Good luck.
Good luck.
Anybody else? We'll have another opportunity at the end if there's something that you would like to discuss. So we'll move on to the consent agenda. Are there items within the consent agenda that a board member would like to discuss or break out separately? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion on the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second to accept the consent agenda. Comments or discussion? All in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, 3.1. Our focus on learning this evening starts with Menominee.
We have some very eager fourth graders ready to present what they've been working on. Mr. Boyer?
Yeah, good evening, all community members, families, on behalf of Menominee, our fourth grade teachers, and this group of fourth grade students we have, thank you for this opportunity to come here tonight and share our learning. This year, as a part of our school-wide improvement plan, we have, the teachers and I have engaged in a very learning-focused collaboration process in which we're identifying the learning outcomes or learning targets within our curriculum that are essential, absolutely essential for all of our students to learn. And throughout that process, in that identification, we're looking at things like endurance. Is the knowledge or the skill that we are trying to teach students, is it going to benefit them beyond the test date or the assessment date? Does it have leverage? Is it knowledge or skills that will be valuable across disciplines? And then readiness, is it knowledge or skills essential for success in subsequent grade levels? So in that work that I've done with the fourth grade teachers, what we identified as most essential to start off and kick off reading in fourth grade was this process or strategy of PQA and ACE. PQA and ACE, and that is what these lovely smiling faces here are going to describe to you tonight. So without further delay, we've got Brooke Edison here, Bryce Hoover, Michael Fisher, Jack Christensen, Preston Wolf, Lena Jones, and Tim Gans. Take it away, guys. Yeah. Or you can stand up there at the podium. Another one?
Okay, that's the right one.
Okay.
So what is PQA? So PQA is putting the question and the answers. So if I asked you what is your favorite color, you would probably say blue. Today we are going to teach you how to answer a question using PQA. So let's try this again, PQA style. What is your favorite color? So you would say, my favorite color is blue. So basically what we did, we took the question and we put it in the answer. So PQA is restating the question so people know what you are talking about.
Ace Answer. What is Ace Answer? An Ace Answer is a type of answering strategy for reading that gives the reader more details about what happens in the story, who the characters are, and is kind of a spoiler for people who are looking forward to reading whatever book you're going to read. But it gives your answers more detail, so it makes them less boring. In other words, ACE equals A, answer the question being asked, C, cite evidence from the text, or E, extend your answer.
What is a sentence stem? A sentence stem is a phrase that helps start a response to a question or statement. If I were to ask you what color is the sky, you could answer like this. The color of the sky is blue. I know this because I looked up at the sky and saw the color blue. Possible sentence. I know this because the text helps me find this by and the author states.
Evidence. What is evidence? Evidence is parts of details from the story that makes your answer reasonable. Why is evidence important? Evidence is needed to support your answer. How do you find evidence? You have to look back in the text to find details that support your answer. How do you extend? When you extend, it means to add important information to your answer so your answer has more details. You can extend when you add or relate to self-answer or a quote from the text. So if Lena asked me, do you like the presentation that we are doing on PQA and ACE? My answer would be, I like the presentation because I like to answer in PQA and ACE answers. It will get me a higher score on a test or on paper.
Comparing PQA and ACE. Why do I need to know both PQA and ACE strategies? Comparing PQA and ACE is not really hard because they are very similar and help each other out. They both are used to help make a response better. I know this because while writing answers down, I've seen that using PQA and ACE really helps to give a complete answer. PQA helps my focus on what is being asked. ACE helps me to remember to support my answer with evidence from the text and to extend my answer and connect it with prior knowledge or personal experiences.
Why is learning this strategy important? What I've learned is important because when you ask a text-based question, you know you can prove your answer. It makes your answer more professional, and if you use ACE, you could have the best answer possible.
This is the check for understanding slide. We're going to have someone come up here and read this to you, and then we're going to give you a couple seconds to answer some questions.
So in spring and summer, wood thrushes often hunt for insects on the forest floor. They will hop along dead logs and poke their beaks into leaf litter to find their food. Unfortunately, many people clean up dead leaves from their yards. The wood thrush has trouble finding food when this happens, but you can help the wood thrush. Put aside a small section of your yard for leaves, dead logs, and rocks. This way, the wood thrush will have a place to search for food.
Okay, I'm going to read you these questions, and then we're going to have someone pass out a pencil and some paper. First, let me read you these questions. Where does the wood thrush find food? Why does the wood thrush sometimes have a hard time finding food?
I'm going to separate you guys basically into two groups, ones and twos. So, okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then 1. Okay. 1. Thanks, Jen. Yeah.
Can we start, or do we have to wait until you tell us?
Can you guys, ones maybe come over here and twos over here? Would that work? pen. I don't have a regular pen.
Sure. Here. One's over there. One's over here, right?
Choose over here. I feel like we're losing control.
I think that was part of the plan. Okay? They really wanted to see us squirm. Where's the wood? Are we working together?
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right, folks, where does wood thrush sometimes have a hard time finding? Yes, I think that, yeah. Oh, directions correctly.
We're supposed to be working on 2 years.
Remind them. PQA.
Number 2 is wood thrush. Okay, so I think, all right, so explain. You start off in PQA, right? That's where you're going to start off our answer.
So we can restate the question within our answer.
All right, so why does wood thrush sometimes have a hard time finding food? How would we put that in PQA style?
The wood thrush. Why does the wood thrush sometimes have a hard time finding food?
Can I try? All right.
I know this.
So now, like, what would your quote need to find, like, 1, 2, or 3 quotes?
Yeah, I think so. Good.
Many people clean up their leaves.
Get rid of leaves.
People are too anal about it.
Good answer.
That's one reason for raising it, yes.
Who's our scribe? That's you.
All right, so wood thrush sometimes have trouble finding food because
You have to look in the
wood thrush
Yes.
So if I'm writing it word for word, I need quotes. Okay, so if I'm paraphrasing, I don't need quotes. I'm with you. Thank
Hearing the quotes are against 100%.
All right, that's okay with that. I like to use 100%. All right. But I use my own word. See, use my own word. Takes it for it. You guys are awesome teachers. All right, let me ask you this. Now you've done the A and the C, but you haven't quite accomplished the E, right?
I don't know if I have a lot of experience.
Do you know how confusing things would be if you guys would like to do that? Or you know, everything there's, am I right? Am I right? I'm just explaining it. Okay. Now that we know. You're right, you were exactly right. My kids would be very happy. You know what? I'm so good, but now that we know that we're doing this, our okay, gotcha. All right. Yes. Sorry, I explained this is fine.
Like, I can relate to this because I
Good way.
Why does the wood brush? Okay, good. I don't like your brush. Well, we have. No. Okay. Oh.
When these guys are done, you guys are done.
All right. Share. Good. Okay.
It is
That one was easy.
Answer PQA in this one. Yes, did you answer?
Yes.
Too much Saturday.
Michael, why don't you ask them to share their answers?
So I think we've learned a lot. You want us to share our answers?
Yeah. You could quickly.
We
Share
picked a
your-
spokesperson for each team. Is that okay?
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Cool.
Yeah.
Team one, who is your spokesperson?
Let's see. Question was, where does the wood thrush find food? Our answer is, the wood thrush finds food in dead leaves as explained in the slide. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. All right, get ready.
After all that's
I'm
said,
number
that was the
2.
extent of your answer.
Watch out, everybody. She's
All right,
running into number two.
let's see.
Now,
team
we're aiming
two.
for 100%, right, team?
Who's scoring us here? All of you?
We make sure we have PQA and A, C, and E. So you check. All right, here we go. The wood thrush sometimes have a hard time finding food because many people clean up the dead leaves from their yards. We use quotations there because it's directly from the text. Now that we know that wood thrush has trouble finding food if we rake leaves, we won't break leaves anymore. We were happy with that last part. That's good. We don't like to break leaves. Is that okay? Did we pass?
Yes.
All right.
Is there?
You want your
Well, thank you very much. Is there a?
I don't know if there's a
winning team?
We've got one follow-up.
Yeah, here we go.
Okay, so now we have a challenge question. Challenge question is on the back of your paper. It's just a challenge back. Here, it's back. And back. Oh, Jack.
Jenny's got it.
It's a challenge. You nailed that, Jack. It's a challenge question because we're not going to provide the answer for you. You have to cite evidence and find the answer by yourself, and then that's pretty much okay. Guys making some progress.
I think Mr. Hartley's stoned. You might need to help him.
Hey, Michael, why don't you read the question aloud that they're answering?
I don't know what that is. You're going to have to ask Michael. Ask Michael.
The question out loud is, what is a wood thrush? Because really in the text, you're going to have to go in the text and find evidence, like, even the first day I started working on this,
Yeah,
I didn't know what it was.
so.
But when we had it read, I was like, oh, okay, I think I get that. So the challenge question is, what is a wood thrush?
Why is it a challenge question?
Am I on?
It's
Am
a
I
challenge
right?
question because it's really not in the story. You have to make inferences. Yeah, you have to make inferences. So since it's not in the story, it's not.
All right.
Yeah, you need to and then it said.
But anyway, so it's a challenge question because it's really hard. And unless you know what a wood thrush is, you can't really know that going back in the story.
Because there were keywords.
Because I've seen it before.
All right, we need to wrap it up, board members. Let's wrap it up. Yes, sir.
Evidently, the days of Menominee go rather quickly.
I used my personal experience. I didn't even try it.
If you could turn around and look at what a wood thrush is, it will actually, it gives you a good understanding, so if you ever have time, it will give you give you a good understanding of what a wood thrush is. You just have to go back in the
He has this story in his book, in his report.
So you might want to look at it.
He always ends with the high five.
What do you want us to do now?
Find
Read our answer? All right.
Yeah.
A wood thrush is a bird longing to find people in this world who understand their needs. And by understanding their needs, will agree to not break their laws. Basically, wood thrushes are my heroes.
Best board president ever.
Now my campaign manager.
Any
All
other
right,
fun studies that for me?
Yep.
Oh,
All right, Menominee. Great job. How about a round of applause for
That's the most fun and excitement we've had in a school board meeting in a long time.
Good job, good job.
You can take it, yeah.
Michael, do you have the pens?
Yeah.
Thank you.
We've had some fun here this evening, and thank you and parents for bringing these fine students to our room. For a bit of seriousness, what you brought here this evening, I think, is very important. As you grow up, and I'm in a line of work where we have to answer questions all the time, and knowing how to answer questions and answering the questions that are asked is very important. And so what you brought here this evening, I know we've had some fun here, very important, and staff, teachers, parents, thank you for sharing your talented children with us this evening. Now, with that, we have a long agenda, and you took our time, now I'm going to make you stay. I'm kidding.
At least you learned something.
The more you know.
You all are free to go do your homework.
Thank you.
All right. Let's move on then to item 3.2, consider signage request for Menominee.
Okay, hey, real quick here, I'm just going to give a little context with this. The last several years, the Menominee PTO, as you know, spent a number of years and a great deal of time and energy raising funds for the new playground that went in and opened to the public a year ago and opened to our students a year ago. Now, at some of our more recent PTO meetings here, it's been shared with us from parents that you drive down Nutmeg and you see this beautiful building and you're not sure if it's a library, a school, a prison, or something else. And so we as a PTO, we started to discuss some options that would be cost effective in order to advertise, who we are. And in that, we considered a digital sign, some alternate signs out front, and ultimately what we decided, given the location of Menominee, that posting what you see up there on the slide, that picture, mock picture, just posting some letters on the school there next to our awning that say Menominee Elementary School would be the most cost effective and aesthetically pleasing. So take a good close look at that proposal that we have up there. Go ahead, Bruce. Here are some of the specifics of the sign. You've got 480.16 inches that Menominee Elementary School will span, and those letters are 16.77 inches tall. They are, if you look there at the bottom, they're letters randomly orbital sanded and finished with a clear coat. They're aluminum. as well, as it states there at the first bullet point. So, if you go to the next slide, please, Bruce. So here are some of the specific costs of this signage. The installation that was, the quote that was given to us was $6,339. We were told that we could be given a $1,000 deduction if we provided our own lift for the crew. The cost of permit acquisition and administration is $150. The cost of permit fees is $300, giving us a total cost of $6,789. Again, $5,789 if we are able to provide our own lift. And that really comes down to timing. I've talked with Mr. Schoaf about that, and it really is just going to come down to timing in terms of whether our lift is available and ready to use. And I'm going to work with him and ensure that we can make that happen, because our PTO is willing to cover all costs, and I think it would be a great gesture on our part if I can work something out with Mr. Schoaf so that we can make that lift available and save our PTO $1,000 there. So, again, with your approval, we would like to make this happen sometime here in the near future.
I have a couple of questions.
Yes.
What are permit fees?
Don't know.
Who gave you that number?
That was given to me by the gentleman from the sign company.
So then he's checked with the city, and they told him that there were permit fees.
Do we know anybody at the city?
Typically, a permit fee like this would be what the sign company would charge to file the permit application and handle the administration to the city.
This requires a building permit?
It would require a building permit. The other question I would ask is whether or not it would require a zoning variance. I don't know how many signs are out there. You're limited to 2 signs, and there's a size restriction. I don't recall exactly how they determine that, but there is a possibility you would have to go through an application process for a zoning variance.
Well, once the application is submitted, the city will let us know if we have to go through a variance.
Exactly.
And then I would go with Mr. Boyer to the evening for the variance and just explain why. But I don't think there's 3 signs already. I think there's just
We've got
one
the old one
sign
out front.
right now. You've got the one out front, and maybe that's it. I don't think there'll be another, but I guess the size of the sign is fine. And I'll tell you what I found out. Some of the rules are pretty silly, because over at the junior high, where they engraved in the limestone Centennial Gym, that was considered a sign, and so we had to get a variance to put another sign up that said Hunter Junior High. So it does get, they get real picky, and so we have to make sure we go and ask for the variance.
Would there be any concern about who uses the lift if the lift is being provided by the school corporation?
We've got other contractors use it.
Okay.
I don't know that any contractors that come on have insurance to take care of it.
They just provide a certificate of insurance.
Okay.
So with board approval, we will move forward with the application process and work through any of the necessary steps that we need to go through.
I think it's an excellent idea, and I certainly commend you and the PTO, and I will recommend that we approve the signage as long as you meet all the legislation, city requirements or whatever.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and second. Any further questions or discussion? How do you keep the birds out from making nests up there?
It's tough. Little purple martins, I think they are. The barn swallows.
See how we tie
Break
things
the
together?
leaves. And then stay away. Don't break the leaves.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
3.3, consider revisions to the corporation handbook.
The only revisions are to the
required revisions when the federal regulations change, and we just have to update it annually, would be Medicare Part B and CHIPS notice, which is Children's Health Insurance Program. And those are the only changes in the corporation handbook.
For the recommendation, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the revisions as outlined to the corporation handbook. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. 3.4, consider revisions to the 2016 PCSC classified employee guidelines.
Yep, there was very few. They were highlighted in your packet. One was just clarifying what we meant when we meant retirement pay when someone retired, and clarification on payment for CPR certification when it's required. And we added reasonable assurance in this as well, so there's another spot they get notification.
Very straightforward. Heard the explanation, is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion and second to approve the revisions to the classified employee guidelines. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. 3.5, consider revisions to the 2016 classified staff conditions of employment.
Again, some very small revisions to be more clear to the employees about paid training and what constitutes paid training. And that some of this is subject to change depending upon school board approval. I think that's it.
Heard the explanation, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. Motion and second to consider revisions to the classified, staff conditions of employment. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. 3.6, ratify master contract.
Yes, after we got warmed up, we had a very professional and expedient negotiations process. I think it took 5 meetings. And what I would ask you to approve tonight is a new contract that the biggest change is how we are going to establish what new money is. And the last 2 years, we haven't gotten any new money because our number of students has gone down, has decreased significantly. And so we took certified savings from teachers who leave and then what we save when we retire. And it says, depending on how much we get from the state, we will share some of that money with the teachers for their raises. And up to some points where they would get all of the money that was saved. And that was a situation this year. So that was the biggest change. Hopefully, it will give some money that most years that we can come to the table and negotiate with. Because it's disappointing, and when I get into the enrollment report, I'll explain why the next probably 10 years looks very, very difficult for having more students in a particular year. So in this contract, and we can't give you exact numbers yet because the state still hasn't okayed and released the I-STEP scores, which are, there's 2 steps that still have to be added to the individual, or 1 step to the individual teacher's contract and 2 steps to the school's grade and corporation grade. Those still have to happen, and they can't do it until the state releases that. And but be very, very close to teachers who are effective or highly effective would get $1,035 raise, and if they completed their professional development, they would get another $1,311. So about 70% would get both of them. I think that, as you know, it's extremely important for employees to feel like they are appreciated and needed, and a lot of times that comes in the form of a raise raise, even if it's a very small raise, which this is, I would consider a small raise compared to some of the things that we've gotten in the past. So this is a one-year contract, is what we agreed to. And I would ask that you okay the master contract.
So moved.
A motion and second, discussion?
I'm just glad that we're able to do something. Every year it bugs me because we're limited to the monies that we have to work with, and I certainly commend PEA and our administrative team, and I'm just happy that we can do something. So I'm glad to see that happen.
I can tell you the teachers are thrilled with the proposed contract. They voted unanimously to accept it. And it goes a long way for them, even though, it is a small raise and we know insurance is going to go up slightly, to be able to have a raise and add it to their base pay for the teachers. They greatly appreciate it.
Well, we have this, when we go through this process, and I don't know if I call it an opportunity or whatever you want to call it, of working with a lot of school corporations, and the ones that I tend to work with most have a lot of issues. And the one that I was meeting with, what is today? Tuesday, would have been last night, Monday. I think it was 8 years. They've gone without having the ability to do anything. And that's not highly unusual for the circumstances that we find ourselves here in Indiana. And I know it's not as much as we all hope, but I am proud that we're able to do this. I know we're all seeing a lot of commercials about next governor and people coming in to make decisions for in our legislature. I think it's incumbent upon all of us, the administration, the board, and the teachers to, and I'm not being political here, but whoever is successful in whatever that looks like, to continue to emphasize the importance of money for public schools. That's all I have to say. You have a motion and second. Anything else? Thank you. All in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. 3.7. Feel good about that, and I think we just feel bad, right? Feel it coming. I can just feel it coming.
Is that slide up? You didn't, okay, I thought you said you were going to put that slide up, probably my mistake. Well, the ADM this year is 3,598 students. Last year it was 3,262 students, so it's a total of 64 students that we lost, and that's why there's no money, because the money is based on the number of students that you have. And so if you take $6,000 per student and multiply it by 64, that's how much we're getting less than last year. Now, we have less students, but we didn't RIF any teachers, so we still have the same number of teachers, and so it makes it very difficult in that process. But the reason that what I did was, as I examined the slides, I said, okay, where are we losing students? Because if that's an issue, then you have to attack that issue. That's your only resource. And so I looked at last year's cohort of seniors, and there were 302 seniors that were there on count day last year. I realize that many didn't graduate, but 302 seniors on count day of 16. And this year, this year, the 2017 cohort of kindergartners is 251. And so just looking at the students that left us and the students that are coming in, we were down 51 students, just in the senior class leaving and the kindergarten class starting. So that left 13 students who either moved or quit. So the things that we have to worry about, and it's not so much the students who quit or move, but it's the fact that 2 years in a row now, our kindergarten cohort has been about 50 students smaller than it was the year before. So we have to look and examine if that's the real number, if students are choosing to go to kindergarten at another school, and we may need to be more proactive about establishing why Plymouth is a good place for students that live in our district to come to kindergarten here. What I hear, though, unfortunately, from other superintendents is that kindergarten numbers are down everywhere. And so it's just something that must have happened during the recession because the last 2 years we've lost nearly 300 and we've brought in only 240 to 250. So then I went down and did a comparison, and we go down to we go down really to first grade with the same thing almost every year. So for instance, next year our senior cohort, this next year will be 284. The next year will be 279. The year after that, 324. The year after that, 272. And like I said, it goes down all the way to second grade, where second grade is still at 290 some students. So unless our cohorts and our kindergarten picks up, then we're going to automatically lose about 50 students each year. So that, unfortunately, puts us in a situation where I'll start will be with the McKibben Associates, and probably have them come up and take a look at a demographic report, and so we can look and see what he's predicting. He's been fairly accurate, but after 3 or 4 years, his numbers aren't nearly as accurate, and it's been 5 years since we had our last report, so it's probably time to do that. So that's our attendance report. Now, one more thing. We did, one of the things that we've worked on to make sure that we have students is doing some marketing. And this year, we have 288 students that are transferred from another school to Plymouth. And that went up about 15 students from last year. I know some people have been publishing those numbers in the paper, and where they all came from. I'm not going to do that. You can report how many students we have that transferred in. I don't care about that, but I'm not going to tell you what schools they came from. I think that's it's bad enough that we have to do that, but it's a reality that we have to look. If we didn't have those students, then we would be in a situation where we would definitely be ripping programs and teachers. It's not something we like to do. That's it for my report. Any questions?
Well, I think McKibben is a good idea. I'm always intrigued to hear him talk. I think it's, I don't want to make more than it is, but 50 students a year times 10 years, that's a big number.
That's the big number.
And I'm still stuck on, as a result of the recession, what that means. But that could mean people left and haven't come back. Is that what you mean?
I think there's a lot of assumptions about what happened during the recession that affected population.
Yeah.
And that's one of them.
Yeah. So I think maybe it's even a bigger or broader discussion with our city folks and county folks in terms of strategies that we might need to employ or collectively on how to address that. I mean, the city and county may or may not see that as directly, they're not tied to student, they don't have dollars on their heads like they do for us, but certainly there are other economic
Well, I know that part of
repercussions for that.
Part of the comprehensive plan for the city is affordable housing, and I know that they, because I sit on the redevelopment plan commission, working hard at creating some housing, and I think the newest proposal would be a regional cities proposal, and would be to put some really nice
Yeah.
apartments out.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. I'm not saying things aren't happening, but
Yeah.
It
kind
should be a
of puts a
concern.
fine point on why that's important. What's that?
It should be a concern for the city and as well as.
Work together.
Yes.
And I know Culver is working on that same.
Any other questions on action item? Okay. We'll move on to 3.8, consider adoption of the 2017 budget and resolutions.
Yes, in August, we had a budget workshop and went over things in a little bit more detail. Then in September, we had the budget hearing, which was passed. And so now we're here to ask you to consider the adoption of the 2017 budget and resolutions that must accompany those. So resolution 1, debt service. 2 is pension bond neutrality resolution. Goals for expenditure. And the Form 4 resolution, which houses all of the levies that we are requesting and the budget amounts on them.
Are you okay we do that as a group? Or you need an individual?
Yes, these we do, because you'll have 2 more. We have CPF
Yeah,
and bus replacement separate.
So the, is that it? Got the explanation of the budget and the resolutions associated with the, with those from me. So, I need a motion, sorry.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second, any discussion? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. 3.9, consider adoption of the 2017 CPF plan.
Yes, we have one resolution that accompanies that plan, and it is to adopt the CPF fund plan for 2017. And we are requesting 3.1 million roughly.
Entertain a motion to adopt a resolution for the CPF fund for
So
2017.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. 3.1 for the 2017 bus replacement plan.
Yes, this is bus replacement plan, and I believe in the plan there are 3 buses and 1 additional for special needs, and that totals $354,000.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and 2 seconds for the bus replacement plan. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. 3.11, new and revised policies, second reading.
Second reading for the policies that were presented last month, which are pertaining to updated administrative and legislative rules that come forth. Recommend those for your approval.
This is an action item this evening, so I entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second to approve policies as presented. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. 3.12, project update.
Well, we are, as you notice out here, we're getting close to being done with the project at the east end of the administration building. And they have finished the ceilings, putting in the ceiling tiles, which means they finished all of the HVAC work that went above that, the electrical work, and most of the tech IT work. Kevin is finishing up the IT work, our own employee. And then they have also painted, and they still have 1 coat of paint to go on sometime this week. They're starting to trim out the windows. They had almost all of them, they said they'll have almost all of them done by tomorrow. And then comes the carpeting, and then the cabinetry is in there, and we expect to move some of our stuff in probably over fall break. Probably start with the new addition, moving that in, and then painting some offices before we put the new furniture in. And so November 1st is the date to put the other set of furniture in. So we should probably be done November 2nd or 3rd, and all in our new offices. And we have some room to grow in there.
On budget, on time, Rich?
On budget and not on time. We had to wait on some plumbing.
Any questions for Dan on the project? Okay, we'll move on to section 4, superintendent reports.
Yeah. Commitment to students, as part of the Marshall County Promise that all the schools in Marshall County are involved in. Kindergarten and first grade students took part in a Walk Into My Future, a field trip to Ancona College. And this is something that we will report on more often in superintendent remarks, because I think the Marshall County Promise is a neat procedure that's being carried out through all the schools in Marshall County. 4.2, caring. Girls in grades 6 to 12 have been invited to be part of the third year of Girls Who Code Club. This is a national club that has a local software developer teaching girls how to write code. This club has been very successful in the first 2 years. We're looking for similar success in this year. And the reason it's girls that code is because in a national survey they found that was an area where people were needed. It's a high wage, high need job, and that most of the people in that area right now are male. And so it was urged to get girls involved in STEM activities, especially writing code. 4.3, if I can get it to move. Congratulations to senior Emery Smith, who was named a semifinalist in the 2017 National Merit Scholarship. Scholarship competition. She is an excellent senior student, and I think she will do very well this year. We want to congratulate her for that award. We don't win that very often. Teamwork. PHS Marching Band hosted their regular Harvest Festival Saturday night. Brian Ames wrote a nice letter thanking the high school administrators, the maintenance department, the high school custodians, the athletic department, the grounds people for helping host the festival that featured 17 bands. He also expressed how impressed the judges and the other bands were with the new stadium. And as we put the new stadium together, the plans for it, we had included Ryan and what he needed for marching band competition. So this was the first time they'd been able to use it, and I'm glad it went over well. 4.6, enjoyment. Congratulations to the boys tennis team for winning the sectional. That makes 20 years in a row. And this evening they beat Wabash. So what are they in next?
Tomorrow night against the winner between Warsaw and CMA for the regional title.
As far as in the future, I think Jenny, do you have an announcement you'd like to make?
Yes, as you know, I am resigning from the board. I did turn my letter into the clerk, the county clerk, and my resignation is effective tomorrow. So this will be my last meeting. Just want to thank you, Larry and Todd, and Melissa, for being so welcoming when I transitioned into this role, and since I started, Dan and Andy have been there. Thank you too. Any questions I ever had. You guys have just been wonderful, and I'm honored, and it was my pleasure to serve with you all. Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you for your contributions, and we'll definitely miss you.
And for those of you that are not specifically aware, you're moving.
I'm moving outside the district in which I serve, so
So,
I will have to step down.
The kids aren't moving,
No.
But thank you, yes, we thank you.
Thank you. My pleasure.
At the time when Gary needed to step down for other reasons, you stepped up. And that takes a special person to step up and give time and energy and dedication to a cause such as this, an important cause. So thank you. You said your last meeting, there's plenty of chairs. You know, you can always come
That's
back
right.
and help us anytime you choose. So,
Thanks, Todd.
thank you.
I've asked Jeff if he would just walk us through the steps for an appointment to the board for 2 meetings.
You guys probably remember this, it hasn't been too long since Jenny joined you, but what the statute and your policy says is that once your resignation is effective, there's a vacancy on the board. And you, as a board, select the replacement to fill that vacancy. You have 30 days to make a selection. If you don't select someone within 30 days, then the circuit court judge gets to appoint someone. And I don't think he has any interest in doing that. Your policy says that you will interview applicants. So what you did last time was to publish a notice that there's a vacancy, you're accepting applications, and then schedule a meeting sometime in the next 30 days to interview and then select from those applicants you receive. You're in a unique situation here because whoever you select is only going to fill the remainder of Jenny's term, which only goes through the end of this year. So since no one filed to run for that seat, on January 1, you'll have to go through that same process again. There will be another vacancy on the board. So you again will have to accept applications and have 30 days to select from those applications. And just to clarify, Jenny's seat is within the corporate limits of the city of Plymouth. So whoever is interested in that seat has to currently reside within the corporate limits and have resided within the corporate limits for the last year.
Right now, in order to meet the timeline, I have down Tuesday, October the 25th for interviews at 7 o'clock. The week before was when I originally wanted to do it, but that's fall break, and so I know a lot of people are going to be out of town, including some of us up here.
25th works for me.
Fine.
So I will put, tomorrow I will put an ad in the paper and on the radio station, so I'll have it sent out. And Jenny, been a fine board member, we really hate to see you go, but we know you'll be involved in the schools, so thanks for your service.
You're welcome, thank you.
Don't give us a hard time. You said 7 o'clock?
7 o'clock.
Does that time work good?
Next board meeting
The
is,
other thing I'd have to change if we get a whole bunch of petrol pins.
Well, I mean, that's what's going through my mind. I don't know how many we're going to get. How about 6 o'clock?
I can get here by 6.
I'm sorry?
I can get here by 6.
6?
6 is fine.
Sure.
6 o'clock then?
Yep.
And the next board meeting date?
Next board meeting is November 1st, and at 6:45, there will be a hearing for the superintendent's wage and benefits. As last year, the same as last year, I've asked the board not to extend my contract because before it's over, I will be retiring. So we're only asking that the hearing be concerning my wages and benefits. And then the board meeting will be at 7 o'clock on November the 1st.
Very good.
That's all I have.
Thank you. 5.1, anybody from the audience have any questions or comments on agenda items? Yes?
I'm sorry.
Could I ask if the kids that are in your current preschool program, are they staying to go to kindergarten? And part two, are you considering getting more preschool?
I'm considering that the legislature will probably, well, they won't mandate it, they're probably going to figure out a way to fund it because most of the other states are going to it. And I think they have to keep up with the Joneses. I think, we don't have new students, so right now the only way to fund it would be to take it out of our reserves, which we don't have enough reserves to be spending it on that. And since our cohort of kindergarten has been low lately, I doubt very seriously if we'll do much more. We're already doing more preschool than the other schools are doing.
And those children are staying for kindergarten?
Unless they move.
There's some mobility in that area.
Any other questions? Thank you for coming. Seeing no other questions, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Only fitting to make the last motion. We were waiting. Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.